Hello, students. Today we are going to start our chapter 6 of Civics Gender Feeling. In this chapter, you will study about gender and role of boys and girls, society and stereotyping, gender inequality, education and awareness, need for gender equality, gender and role of boys and girls. Biologically, all human beings fall into any of two categories, male or female. The word gender refers to the different values, attitudes, and behaviors that are attached to the roles of males and females by different social and cultural groups. For example, women cook and clean, men drive car and aeroplanes. In this way, the gender feeling turns into a social issue. It refers to social and cultural attributes, roles, and responsibility associated with a male and female. Gender is culturally determined and is a social concept that changes over a period of time from one culture to another culture. Role of boys and girls. Even as babies, boys and girls are treated differently. In some communities, boys are always dressed in a blue and not in a pink, as it is considered to be a feminine color. In these pictures, look a boy playing a cricket and a girl playing with doll. Stereotypical gender roles like males are tough and females are the weaker sex originate from the roles that are taught during childhood. By the age of 3, children tend to be aware of their gender. They are encouraged to prefer the games, clothing, way of speech, and other aspects of culture usually associated with boys or girls. Males are told boys don't cry and are given guns and cars as toys, and girls are given dolls and playhouses so that they can play the traditional female girls in a homemaking role. The gist of a matter is that girls are schooled to be soft and obedient, and boys are told to be tough and dominating. In this way, the society wrongly ingrains the specific rules and girls and boys are supposed to play when they grow up into women and men. Society and stereotyping. The notion of stereotyping is generally negative. It creates discrimination that results in inequality. It hampers the individual thought. It is prejudiced, irrational, and based on fear of what is different. Stereotyping of roles has deep roots in the human mind. It may have originated in the early primitive tribes as they struggled for the control of territory. The physical strength of males was considered very important, but unfortunately, the domination continues even in the modern times. The effort to create a free domestic and rational society, the effort to create a free, democratic, and rational society where everyone enjoys equality continues to be an important political and social issue. Stereotyping of gender roles may vary from culture to culture, but the fact remains that most behavioral differences between males and females are determined by society. Gender inequality. The gender inequality can be traced back to the prehistoric time when men are allowed to go for hunting. Women were asked to cook and look after children at home. The set activities assigned to girls and boys do not end with the selection of toys for each, they even influence the selection of subjects in school and college. Later on, the value attached to the work, males and females, also differs. In this image, you can say women laborer. Most women work much harder than their male counterparts, but the invisibilization of women's labor fails to get them their due share. The housework and the childcare are not considered work. The condition of rural women is quite sad, as rural men are migrating to cities in large numbers in search of employment. The women have taken over the responsibility of looking after the farms. They continue to do their traditional work in household, that is, family care, fetching water, fodder, firewood, basket making, etc. They also work on the farms during sowing and harvesting, along with looking after the cows, buffaloes, and hens. The list of their work is endless. The domestic maid, the domestic maids in big cities also work very hard, live under unhygienic conditions, and lead a life without dignity. They dream of a better life as compared to their rural counterparts but continue to survive under discriminating conditions. We often see a woman laborer while working on a road, construction site, and carrying her baby at the same time. The condition of urban educated women is not very different. She begins her day at the crack of dawn. She cooks for the entire family, sends her children to school, packs her husband's lunch, and goes to the bus stand to catch an overcrowded vehicle. At work, she has to perform her duties equivalent to her male counterpart. Once back home, in the evening, she has to complete household chores and then manage to catch a few hours sleep before following the same routine the next day. The work she does at home is unaccountable. 88% of rural women and 66% of urban women can be considered economically productive, but their employment in families, farms, or business is not recognized productive. All credit to generate any income in the family goes to men. Women are paid less than men for the same kind of work even outside the house. The women's role as a caregiver and homemaker has not been accorded its rightful place. She gives birth, lactates her babies, cares for them, feeds the family, and attends to the sick and older members of the family, and still faces discrimination. The issue of women's inequality is not limited to India alone, it is an international one. A well laid out planning is required on international level for gender equality because even the most developed countries have been unsuccessful in ensuring a rightful place for the women in the society. For example, right to vote was given to women in England only in 1928 and in France in 1944. Gender inequality exists in most parts of the world in different forms. Mortality inequality. When mortality rates are higher as compared to men all over the world. Mentality inequality. Many male dominated societies have preference for boys. The techniques of determining the gender of the fetus has encouraged this in human practice. Basic facility inequality. Girls are still considered to be a liability for parents. Illiteracy is mainly responsible for many stereotypes prevalent in our society. Girls are denied the right to education and many facility in many countries. Even today, the dropout rate among girls is particularly high on account of less attention being paid to their health and to their education. Special opportunity inequality. The opportunities of higher education and professional training are less for young women and more for young men. Professional inequality. In employment as well as promotion, women often face discrimination. Ownership inequality. There are inequalities in basic assets, that is, home and land, are owned by males. The lack of claim to property reduces the voice of women. Before 2005, women in our society had no right to inherit property. Household inequality. There are basic inequalities in gender that are reflected in sharing of housework and childcare. Child marriage. Child marriage and the dowry system also result in gender equality. When a girl is married at an early age, she is ignorant and uneducated. This makes her lead a life of dependency that creates gender inequality. This image is showing child marriage. Education and awareness. In earlier times, Indian society gave due respect to women. We had famous women philosophers, writers, as well as social reformers. But the situation changed slowly and gradually, and discrimination against women increased and they were denied their rightful place. But the time has changed today. Education and awareness has empowered women to emerge as a powerful force in political and economic spheres. Equality is the foundation of our constitution. Our constitution says that being male or female should not be the reason for discrimination. Our government has been emphasizing on women's education. For this, many new schools and colleges have been opened only for women. The government has also initiated several programs to encourage girl children for attending schools. The government has passed acts to give equal share to women in the property of their parents. The government has passed laws that make it mandatory for organizations that have more than 30 women employees to provide them crèche facilities. The government has passed the anti dowry law that declares giving and taking dowry as illegal. The National Commission for Women was set up in 1990 to safeguard the rights of women. Education and awareness have empowered women to emerge as a powerful force in political and economic spheres. Many women social activists have led strong movements against government. In politics, women have shown the world that they are capable of being eminent leaders. They have achieved international fame in the world of writing, fashion, herbal beauty, information technology, medicine, engineering, teaching, aeronautics, games and sports, etc. Education makes women aware of their rights, their rightful place in society, and the factors that hamper their growth. It empowers a woman to recognize her potential and end the gender bias. Do you know, in November 2008, 200 women were trained to join BSF and they have been posted at Indo-Pak border. A new taxi service has been powered with a team of well-educated, reliable and courteous drivers. Delhi Tourism has started Project Priyadarshini where women car drivers and tourist guides are inducted into the Incredible India campaign. This is the image of Incredible India campaign. Look at the picture below. Women auto drivers ferry children from school and back on the streets of Hyderabad. This image is showing women auto drivers. Look at the photograph of Sakina. She is a proof that education can change the society. She grew up in a village where they did not even have a bus service, but her mother insisted on sending her to school as she was an exceptionally bright child. She she stood first in her district in class 10th. Her father wanted her to get married because of family pressure, but her teachers persuaded him to let her study. Her family had to face a lot of criticism, but the whole village was thrilled when Sakina passed class 12 with flying colors and was given scholarship. She completed her PhD in chemistry and is now teaching in reputed university. This is the image of Sakina, a Muslim schoolgirl going to school in an Indian village. Sakina proved to be a torchbearer for many other rural girls who otherwise would not have received any education or awareness. But the real credit goes to her illiterate parents who withstood the social pressure and gave a chance to their daughter to make a better life for herself. Need for gender equality. Gender inequality hurts the interest not only of girls and grown up women but also of boys and men who play an important role in achieving gender equality. Equal sharing of responsibilities and harmonious partnership between women and men are necessary for the well being of their family as well as Indian democracy. Shared power and responsibility between women and men at home, in the workplace, and international levels would help to create harmony within the family and society. Men and women must be encouraged to share equally in childcare and household work to enhance the understanding of the issue of gender equality. Though to a great extent the inequality has decreased, yet it is still miles to go to see a brighter future for girls. Summing up, gender refers to different values, attitudes, and behaviors that are attached to the role of male and female by different social and cultural groups. The gender role of a woman within her family is to do the household work and look after her family members. She is discouraged to work outside home to earn money. Men are considered as breadwinners in the family. They work outside away from their residence. The roles men and women play or the work they do within and outside the home are not valued equally. Illiteracy is the biggest factor responsible for gender inequality. Women have struggled to bring about many favorable changes for themselves. This struggle is known as women's movement. Right to vote to women was given in 1928 in England and in 1944 in France. Thank you, class. We'll meet in the next class.